Hello everyone, my name is Kolawole Olarewaju and welcome to this tutorial. In a few minutes, I'm going to go over some useful tips in animation optimization. We'll cover how to bake your animations to your meshes and also discover the freedom that comes with it. Let's get started. So what we're going to be talking about today is the concept of caching. Now, caching is basically baking animation onto your mesh itself. So if you have a mesh that is being driven by rigs or being driven by a modifier of some sort, and you want to kind of free up the heavy data in your scene, caching is the way to go. I'm going to use this as an example. This is a character I downloaded from Mixamo. It's fully rigged, as you can see. Now the rig is animated, right? And that animated rig is driving the mesh, making it deformable. Okay, so what I mean is, if you click on the mesh, as you see here, there's no animated keys on the timeline, meaning the mesh is just a mesh, static, but being driven by the rig. Now if I select the rig, you see all these keys here. That's basically the animation, for the rig itself. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to get rid of the rig. We want to try to get rid of the rig and have just the mesh animated in the scene, so we can play around with it a bit. So I'm going to select the mesh. Right now it has a skin modifier, and you can see that it's basically skinned to the bones of the rig here. So over the skin modifier, I'm going to choose a point cache modifier. Now point cache is the modifier here used to bake the cache data, so for your animated geometry. And point cache can be found in every 3D application. I'm not sure it might have different names, but point cache is a kind of a universal name. So right now I have a dialog here. I'm asked to create a new point cache file. I'll call it Newton mesh file. And it's here we have the start and end frame. My animation is from 0 to 100, so this should be fine. So I'll click record. Now you may not notice anything on the get-go, but what has happened is the geometry is now independent of the rig. If I delete the skin, you can see automatically that the mesh has no business with the rig itself. That's the rig there animated. The skin doesn't even understand what's going on anymore. It has its own agenda. So if we click on the point cache, you see that it's basically animated geometry. I'm going to get rid of the rig, so you see that it has nothing to do with the rig at the moment. So I'll select the rig, delete. And what we have is the animated geometry in the scene. Now, once you have point cache geometry in the scene, the possibilities are basically endless. It depends on what you want to do. I'm going to just give you a few examples of what's possible. For instance, I have, let's see, I'll try to, sorry, I'm supposed to select that. I'm going to try to kind of slow down the animation in between. So I'm going to come down to the playback here, and I think it's custom range, no, playback graph. Okay, I'm going to set a keyframe here, and as a frame 0. Then somewhere at frame 35, I'm going to set, okay, 35, sorry, 35. So, it looks normal all the way to 35, and it stops. Then what I want to do is, I want to extend, let's just see, I think his jump Let me see where his jump stops. Let's put this at 60. Let me see where his jump actually is. I removed the auto key there. Let me put it back. Okay, so he jumps up in the air about this point. So this is the takeoff point. So actually what I want to do is I want to start from this takeoff point somewhere here. Then as it leaps up in the air, everything slows down to about 50. So we want to take off from 25, and then slow down onto 50. So I'm gonna delete these keyframes here. Okay. So we're gonna keyframe at 35. Oh wait, 25. Yeah, 25. Okay, so everything's normal until 25. Then a keyframe at 50 also. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to extend the timeline. I'll extend it to 200. Okay. So it's scaled out to 200 now. So the 100 mark, I'm going to, and I think he lands somewhere. Let me check where he lands. Should land about, okay, 70. Okay. And now let's put a keyframe at 100. Okay. So everything seems normal, everything seems fine. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to move the keys around a bit, so I'm going to have something to play with. So for 20 to 25 to 50, I'm going to take this and move it down. So what we have is that, okay, so what we've done is basically, done like a bullet time sequence of some sort. Maybe he's dodging something that's passing under his legs or whatever. Okay, so that's just an example of what's possible. So I'm going to go back to, let me delete all these keys. I'll give you another example of what's possible. Alright. So, for instance, if, let me add the twist modifier. Twist. Yeah, I think that's it. Why? Now, at the point where he's jumping, I could, let's just say, here, select the twist modifier, set a key there, auto key, and I'm going to twist. Alright, I'm just going to go crazy here, don't mind me. Auto twist. Okay, so it's not meant to be twisting there, so let me move this here. It starts to twist it from here. Okay, and as it comes back down, I'm gonna animate the scale. I'm gonna animate his scale. So from somewhere here, I'll set a key, auto key, come down to somewhere here, and I'm gonna scale it. Sorry, I should be able to scale it down to 0. Okay. Okay, so what we have is something like this. Yeah, it's too fast though, but I'm sure you get the picture. I'll move it a bit. Let me add a turbo smooth, just to smooth out all the rough edges there. If I play this, oh, sorry. Yeah, you get the picture anyway. Alright. get the picture. That's another example. Let me see what else I can think of. Let's see. Okay, for instance, you could add let's use a geometric deformable P-bomb here. I just put it somewhere here, so I'll make sure there are no keyframes here. Alright, so here I'm gonna, what point does it jump? Jumps around 40. So for the bomb, I'm gonna put the detonation at 40. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna link this to the bomb, so basically the bomb affects the geometry. So I'll select this, bind to space warp, bomb. So what you see, what I'll do is I'll move this up here a bit. Sorry, I'll move this up here a bit. Okay. So at the point where, sorry, let me just move this down. I think maybe the impact is too much. Let's put it at 0.4. Sorry, 0.4. Okay. Gravity, let's take chaos. So we could increase the maximum size of the particles or the fragments, minimum size of fragments. Let me see, looks like paper here. So if we maybe if we added a shell modifier, I don't know what will happen. Let's just try add a shell modifier. Now the shell modifier is meant to give it a bit of thickness. I hope it doesn't crash on me. If it crashes, I'll just come back. No, the shell modifier is not doing jack shit. But let me remove it. Okay, the shell modifier can't work in this scenario, so that's fine. Anyway, you get the picture. It's it kind of opens a lot of doors for you in terms of playing around and playing around with your mesh without bothering about your rig or whatever you have. You could also what we can do, let's just clone this. Clone it. Let's have several instances, like maybe 5. Okay, 5 instances. 5. Okay. So what you have is you have 5 instances of this thing jumping. Okay. Put it back at 100. So we have him jumping normal. What we want to do is we want to kind of offset the timing of all these other guys here to give it something random. So if you had like maybe a stadium crowd of some sort, you could play around with that and get something interesting. Remove this guy here. So for this guy, let's just see custom starts. I think custom starts is fine. Let me see. If I put 10, what happens? Okay, fine. And this guy here, so custom starts 20. Okay, and hue, let's do this. Custom starts 30. Okay, you delete. Custom starts 40. Okay, you, oh sorry, delete that one. Custom starts 50. Okay, so what we'll have is something of this nature. Let's see. Alright, So basically, the animation is offset. If you want to go a little crazy, if our computer doesn't cry, let's move all these guys. And the lovely thing about the point cache is now, because it's a deformable mesh, position in 3D space doesn't, it's not affected. Like if you had a rig, you have to move the whole rig with everything, make sure it doesn't break or whatever. So, but here you don't even, just treat it as a normal object. So if let's just do 10. Let's just 10. Yay! Okay. Alright. So 10 guys. Anyway, I'm sure you get where I'm going here. So it's really a useful tool in terms of optimization of your scene. Okay, now I won't start crashing on me. Anyway, in terms of optimization of your scene, it's really useful. If you had an animated character, or you had animated characters, and you don't want to bother about any of the additional stuff on the model or the character, you just want to focus on what you've animated, you can do something of this nature. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I would keep trying to dig up some interesting concepts and tips and techniques that will help in your daily workflow. As usual, you can reach out to me at any time, ask me simple questions that won't cause my head to explode. Just reach out anyway. I'll be glad to help. Till next time. Goodbye.